Welcome to First Down Sports.
You make a comeback.
Season 2, Episode 1. That sounds crazy. Considering Season 1 actually went for about a year and a half.
I was going to say, but nobody needs to know.
But what we're going to do as far as going forward is Season 2 will be... The next season will always be after the show after our Super Bowl. Okay, that's when the new seasons will start going forward.
Anybody listen to this, you make sure you hold them to that.
That's it. I'm Ray Dunn. Sitting with me is Andy Jardine, Chris Dunn, and on sound and audio, normally at the back of the room, but if you're watching on video this week, you're going to see he's not only here at the table with us, but he's at the front of the table. And he's in control of the sound.
Did you give his name?
All right, that's it. Shut it down.
Are we going to give his name?
Nick Dunn.
Nick Dunn. Nick, I actually had a listener ask a question. I thought it was a really good one. I'm going to throw it to you. You do sound and audio.
Yes.
What's the difference between sound and audio?
Nothing.
Okay. That was... I thought that was the answer, but wasn't sure.
Season 2 of the sound effects.
Yeah,
they roll in.
We finally have sound effects. It's amazing.
Nick and I still do our own.
All right. Before we get started, let's talk about our sponsors real quick. Again, you know our favorite products, Moose Light. If you're going to get yourself a beer, have yourself a Moose Light. This stuff is fantastic. Scary good. And if you need hats, shirts, jackets, go see our buddies at Doyle's Corporate Image.
All rules.
And if your kitchen sucks, Andy,
fix your kitchen. Quit your bitching and get your done right sauce today.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
You kind of messed up though.
Listen, sometimes you got to mess up and you got to recover. And bottom line is, I was scrambling as a quarterback. I didn't take the sack. I threw the ball away.
All right, there you go. We here at First Down Sports Studio 1, I think it's called.
Studio 1.
Locker room.
We have a bunch of renovations taking place in the upper levels. There's all kinds of work going on. So there could be some side effects to the show as the floors were just freshly varnished. So
yeah. I want some chips.
We're all a little...
Do you got any chips?
We're all struggling down here.
I am actually feeling a little bit.
Imagine how I don't even smell it anymore. I've been here so long. It's just part of me now.
I can't even taste my Moose Light.
I am the varnish, Ricky.
I can't even taste my Moose Light. All right, let's get into some football talk. We're going to try to go through this stuff fairly quick for you guys. Andy, you're on the board number 1 with this week's topic.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
So listen, it's too early to do a mock draft because we need some of the other pieces to fall into place, right? And the biggest thing or at least the most interesting thing I think on everybody's radar for the free agency period this year are the quarterbacks, right? Now, over on firstdownsportspodcast.com in the blog section, you can find a little story that Ray Perkin and I put together where what we tried to do is we tried to match up the various quarterbacks with the various teams that, that their starting quarterback was not a sure thing for 2018. And I thought it'd be really fun for us to have that debate on the show. Okay. Because, again, we need these chips to fall. We need to know where Cousins is going. We need to know where Keenum is going. We need all this stuff to happen before we can really put together a good mock draft. So I thought we could do that tonight.
Awesome.
All right,
let's go.
So what we're doing is we're going to be predicting, and I'll name it team by team here. We'll go through it. We're going to be predicting the game 1 starter for each of these teams. Now, these teams may end up drafting a quarterback. If you think that rookie is going to win the job, then you can say the draft pick is going to start.
Yeah.
If you don't think so, if you think it'll be a few games or potentially even year 2, then you name the actual starter you think that's going to start. Let's start with the most painful franchise in the league, the Cleveland Browns. And I want you to kick this off, Ray.
Okay.
Who do you think will be the game 1 starter for the Cleveland Browns 2018?
Well, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I think it's going to be a rookie. I'm really torn on who that rookie's going to be, and we're gonna talk a little bit later about the combine and rank the top 5 prospects.
Okay.
But I think the starter for the Browns will either be Sam Darnold,
right,
or Josh Allen.
Okay, so and you don't even have to worry about naming them. So you're on the record for, and I'm going to keep track of these so that we can.
Week 1, right? Week 1 starter.
So week 1 starter, Ray believes that the draft pick that the Browns either take on at number 1 or number 4 is going to be the starter.
Okay.
Chris, Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland Browns. I put a little thought into this, and then I thought, why am I thinking about the Browns? And I completely stopped.
Okay. So you don't have an answer?
Which tells me he didn't do it.
So I got it. I got an intensive list down here. So, but here's what my thought is. I think it's going to be a free agent quarterback. I don't know which one.
Well,
but I say the day 1 starter is going to be some free agent quarterback.
Okay.
I don't know which one, but it's going to be a free agent quarterback.
So this exercise, though, you have to name them. That's the whole point.
Okay.
We're trying to match the free agents with the teams.
Okay.
So the only time you don't have to name a player is if it's the rookie.
I kind of confused a little bit of thing of thinking that if it was a rookie. Okay, so I would say they're not going to get the home run threat. I'm going to either say it's going to be.
No, name your guy.
I'm processing.
You're processing?
Yeah. I'm thinking it's going to be Bradford.
Okay.
Is going to be. I think it could be him. I think that's going to be I think they're going to pick a good quarterback.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Mayfield that they're going to pick up for some reason. I know you're going to hate that.
No, I don't hate it, but anyways, that's.
But I think they're going to have somebody start. They're going to have somebody start, and I think Bradford makes the most sense because if he goes down, the rookie's ready to go after 5 weeks.
So Chris is going with Sam Bradford.
Yeah.
All right. So for me, Ray, I don't think the rookie's going to start. We started a rookie last year, and we saw how that went, and he wasn't ready. However, he now has 15 games of NFL experience. So if if anybody's going to start next year, it's going to be Kaiser if it's not a free agent.
Right.
I think that they're going to give the rookie some time to figure it out. Though I'm 100% sure the Browns take a quarterback at 1 or 4. And I'm like 98% sure at the moment, anyways.
What if they take Josh Rosen? Because they're saying he is most likely the rookie to step in and take a start right away for a team.
I think the scars are too deep. I don't think there's any chance that a rookie, unless he blows the competition away in training camp and ends up winning the job, that I don't foresee happening. I think the Browns are going to sign a free agent quarterback, and it's going to be their job to lose. And the one that makes the most sense is A.J. McCarron. We tried to trade for A.J. McCarron in the season. He won his grievance against the Cincinnati Bengals and is now an unrestricted free agent. So thank goodness we screwed that up.
Yeah.
Because we almost gave a 2 and a 3 away for him, and he'd be a free man right now and wouldn't even have to come back.
Yeah.
I think that makes the most sense. I think Hugh Jackson wants him. I think the new general manager is going to get the chance to pick his quarterback in the draft, and he might appease the coach and give the coach, what he's looking for. So I think it's going to be A.J. McCarron. If they strike out on A.J. McCarron, I'm thinking potentially a return of Josh McCown, depending on what happens in the Jets.
Really?
But I have to make a call today. I'm calling A.J. McCarron as the starter, week 1 starter for the Browns.
I think he goes to the Jets.
Okay.
So mark my thing down. Jets. I think the Jets has too. I know you guys both have enough money. I have a funny feeling the Jets are going to get him.
Who?
McCarron.
Yeah. Okay.
They're already rumored to be talking with him.
Okay. All right.
Well, the Jets are all in right now on Kirk Cousins.
So listen,
They're not going to get Cousins.
We're not going to get to the Jets. Okay. We're going to go right to the next B team, the Buffalo Bills, the ones that are very represented on the walls all over the place here. I found this one to be the toughest call. I'm really having a hard time with this one.
Did Nick want to get in on that or no? Nick, did you want to get on the Browns?
I didn't. No? No, not the Browns.
All right. Pass.
All right.
All right.
Hard pass.
Actually, Nick looked happy that you passed on that one.
We're going to.
I would have just said rookie. Rookie.
All right. Why don't I start with you this time, Chris? So, Tyrod Taylor's still on the team. They're probably going to pay that $6 million thing, which will give them either an opportunity to cut him and lose less on the cap, or make it a little easier to trade him. I think that's how
I called that they were going to do that. By the way.
All right, and well done, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm gonna go with a little bit of a wild card on this one, and there was already rumors that Buffalo was talking with Philly about Foles. So I have a funny feeling they already offered him potentially a second.
Yeah, you think they're the team?
I think they're going to be packaging. Yeah, there was already some talks that we were the actual ones.
Okay.
So I think they're going to package it in, and I think we're going to go Foles.
All right. So I don't know if you're up to date on this. So it was reported that an AFC team offered a second round pick for Nick Foles, and the Phillies and Philly said no. I've heard multiple reports as to who it may have been. I've yet to hear Bills actually.
I haven't seen the Bills tied with it at all.
I'll show you the link after.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
So so basically, listen, we're keeping a tally here. So come week 1, we're gonna see. So you're all right, Nick Foles. That'd be pretty
outstanding,
heck of a splash. I have a feeling you guys have 2 first-round picks. They just said no to a second, so you wouldn't be upset at all if they part with one of those ones for Nick Foles.
I'm not saying that. I'd like them to stick to their guns a bit to the second, and maybe even offer like maybe other future small picks, like maybe roll in like maybe a 4th or a 3rd.
Ray. All right, fair enough. Ray, what do you got for the Bills?
Well,
I think I know what you're going to say, and it's the most boring possible answer, I think.
I don't know.
Bradford.
Here's the biggest thing about the Bills is they've got a lot of contracts. They're still trying to get sorted out in Buffalo. The Doug Whaley management team put the Bills in a tough position in salary cap as it is. They need to solve those salary cap issues. I don't see this team, if they're going to make a big splash for a trade for a quarterback, I don't think they're going to want to rush that quarterback to play week 1. And I think the safest thing for the Bills to do, I hate it, but my prediction is Tyrod Taylor will start week 1 for the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
Could be.
And I can see either of these scenarios. I don't see the Nick Foles thing happen, but I hope it does. But I think it is going to cost one of those ones.
If you want me to mention one thing, I was really leaning more towards the Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
Because I think he's not going to have a tremendous market out there. And it kind of makes sense that Bean coming from Carolina, that they already have a similar type of quarterback that they did well with there, that he would fit that same type of mold of like mobile.
Yeah.
He's got, I don't know how mobile
he's not
now.
very,
But the thing is with that, Chris, is they already got Tyrod that's mobile.
We're going to be talking Teddy.
And the other thing is
doesn't work though.
The other thing is, but Tyrod has a great relationship with the locker room. And for this year as a transition year, I think it's just easy to keep Tyrod. That's why I'm staying there.
So we'll get to Teddy. I really found the Bills difficult, but one thing, I really don't think that Tyrod Taylor is going to be there. I just think the bridge is burned. It's just too much.
I hope you're right. I really do. I hope you're right.
I know. And I'm probably wrong, but I had to match them up with somebody. And what I was thinking, and Teddy's an interesting option because everybody knows he's going to take a pretty affordable 1-year prove-it deal to show that he's healthy and he can play and get something better.
Yep.
I think he's a bit of... We're going to be talking Teddy later. And the question marks about his knee and everything and whether,
Yeah, he can return.
I think the Bills have to go win now, but they have to be smart about it and not go crazy. Originally in the article I said Cousins. Nope. I've rethought that now. I am linking them up to Case Keenum. Case Keenum is free. A lot of people question whether he was a 1-year wonder or not, but he's accurate. He's accurate. He doesn't turn the ball over. Those are two things somewhat Tyrod Taylor-like. However, he makes a lot more throws, a lot smarter throws, and I think that the Bills could get him and not hurt themselves cap-wise too much. So I'm throwing Case Keenum out there to the Bills.
Okay.
Honestly, I was leaning more towards him going to the Browns, but either one, that would be great. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, well, actually, who I had listed here next is the Vikings. So let's get into this. So the Vikings have officially not franchised anybody.
Didn't you have the Cardinals next? It doesn't matter. Let's go Vikings.
Are you okay with Vikings?
That's out of order. That's not what I prepared.
I must have wrote it down.
And also, I had a little bit with the Bills, too.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, Nick. I forgot you wanted the Bills.
I agree with Ray with Tyrod. I think it's going to be more... Thank you.
You like that because they're saying Ray.
I think.
You hear that?
Yeah. I think it's going to be exactly like last year, though. Tyrod's going to come up slow, like he did last year, and Peterman is going to come back in.
Peterman.
They're not done with Peterman.
I agree with you, Nick. I think Peterman. I think they're going to look hard at him in the offseason. You never know.
They're not done with him yet.
Listen,
and I read something about them not being done with Peterman.
Oh, hang on a second. We got something for Chris.
And Peterman holds records in this league, guys.
He does.
Let's not forget about that.
I don't think they're going to part ways for Peterman, but he's not.
He's got records.
But I think
he's holding some records. Yeah.
I think it's going to be like last.
All right, let's go to Vikings.
So I'm really sorry about the order, guys, but let's go with Vikings. So I'll set it up and hand it over to Ray. So officially, they haven't franchised anybody. Teddy's contract is officially not going to toll, I hear it. So they're all free agents, every one of them.
Yeah.
And they all have questions. And I'm sure that they're going to look at potentially bringing one of them back if another plan falls through.
Sure.
Ray, kick it off. What are the Vikings going to do?
Sure. If I'm Kirk Cousins and I'm signing with a team as a free agent,
This is easy.
I want to go to a team with a defense. And not only that, but I want to go to a team where, I can just go play my game. Media is not a huge factor. Minnesota has a lot to offer. They play in a dome, which means you don't have to play in a lot of winter, or cold winter, whatever. Anyways.
Is that what the roof brings?
The roof brings winter. Sorry, it's the varnish. But to me, I can't think of a better place for Cousins to go than with Minnesota. They were one game away from the Super Bowl, and I think that if that defense can come back and play like they did last year, I think Kirk Cousins helps get them back to the big game.
Can't argue with anything you've said. They have the cap space. They haven't done anything with any of their quarterbacks, so it looks like they're gearing up for something. So pretty smart call. Chris.
That's the softball question. I think that's the easiest pick. Like, I think it's 99.9. He's going there.
Okay.
You go to a champion. I know there's other teams out there have more money that you can put down to try to waver him over, but I think he's made his money.
Well,
I think
hold
he
on
won
here.
a champion. Whoa.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that he's ready to win.
Okay.
And I think that that's it. So go on in.
Well, the only thing I was going to say is I don't think it's a softball because Minnesota's just come into this race within the last week. Their name wasn't even mentioned. It was Denver, New York Jets.
Vikings were always there.
Yeah, once they didn't
not in the beginning.
Not as heavily as now, but they were always mentioned because everybody knew their quarterbacks were going to come up.
Yeah, once their quarterbacks are all gone, they're shot right to the front.
Yeah.
So I'm not going Cousins with the Vikings.
Really?
In my article on firstandsportspodcast.com in the blog section, if you want to check it out, I actually linked a tweet from Skip Bayless. Now, I don't
Skip Bayless.
Nothing Skip Bayless says is really, always the most intelligent, but he brought up some things about Cousins, and he brought up the fact that Cousins isn't big on pressure. And he was talking about, and that was the reason why I was linking him up with the Bills, is I thought, all right, well, the pressure to win now immediately with that team and so on was a little, probably a little lower than some of the other things they were talking about, like Denver. I think that the Vikings are going to be in for Cousins. I think Cousins is going to have options, and I think Cousins is going to choose somebody else, and you guys will hear it later, potentially for a combination of reasons, one being more money, one being less pressure. I think the Vikings, you say that the media is not that bad, fine, but the fans are crazy, and that team is ready to win now, and if Cousins doesn't win now, that's bad. That's not a good scenario.
So that's one of the factors of not going to the I don't know, man.
Hey,
I don't know if I think you're going into the most highest pressured position that you can take, and then you have all that support around defense, offense.
I don't know Kirk Cousins.
Receivers.
I don't know Kirk Cousins
running.
Personally. Only my opinion and a hunch that I'm going to run with. I'm actually going to say that the Vikings end up bringing Bradford back.
Okay.
And so I'm going to say Bradford is going to be their game one starter. I think they're going to try to go after Cousins. And the golf ball falling very, very relevant right now.
There you go.
Nick, do you want in on the Vikings call at all?
Nope.
Hard pass. That's a hard pass.
Hard no.
All right, well, let's jump.
He put a rookie quarterback down for him on that one.
Rookie.
All right.
This is a strong QB class, Nick.
Rosen.
So, okay. All right, guys. Let's go to the Cardinals because I had that next apparently in the email I sent you guys. The most boring, tough pick.
This one's
the most boring, tough pick, and one that I actually have two names written down here, and I'm going to have to decide on the spot which one it's going to be, and I'm going to take a little bit more time to think about it and hand it over to you, Chris.
Well,
Cardinals.
That's the one that I finally decided that's where Bridgewater's most likely going to go.
Okay.
Because all the good quarterbacks are going to say this is the ugliest team to go to. I say that's who's gonna say here 1 year deal, prove it, and all the other team they can offer him a little bit more because I don't think any other teams are going to give him a serious offer.
Okay,
yeah,
that's not a bad call. What do you think? I don't think it's as bad of a situation, as you might think to go into.
They got a good running back, but they got an aging team.
They do. It's an old team, but there's talent there. You can win some games right now with good quarterbacks.
But if you were one of the top quarterbacks, and what are you going to sell? Like all these other teams have all this awesome stuff to sell.
Warm weather, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah. Rattlesnakes.
Ray, what do you got for the Cardinals?
Well, the Cardinals are picking 15th overall.
Yep.
So unless they make a move up into the top 5, they're not going to get a starting rookie quarterback. So
some that are gonna drop.
I'm going to, but still, I don't think it's going to be a starting rookie quarterback. So I'm taking rookie off the table for the Cardinals.
Yep.
And this one may surprise you a little bit, but again, there is a lot of opportunity in Arizona, especially with David Johnson there. If he can get through a year healthy, I think Case Keenum is going to be your Cardinals Week 1 starter.
That's not a bad call as well.
Wrong
For me.
Oh, thank you.
So I had two names here, and one of those names was Bridgewater, like yours. So I'm going to make this fun and choose a different name. And I have to choose this name because clearly I don't have him playing for his current team. I think we're going to see Tyrod Taylor traded to the Cardinals for a very late round pick, and I think Tyrod Taylor is going to start for the Cardinals.
Nice.
Tyrod.
I like that a lot.
I'm going with.
Good.
Who do I have next on the list for you guys? Is it? Oh, it's JETS time. Nick, did you have anything you wanted for the Cardinals?
Johnny Manziel.
Let's go down with Johnny Cash.
Nick down is going
Money.
Johnny football. Johnny football.
JMM hashtag comeback season.
Put the money symbols. Too.
Money,
Please,
money,
yes,
so
please, yeah, correct that.
cash, nothing.
We'll
Cash.
edit that out.
Well,
Sorry.
actually, he's playing for free.
These are all so relevant right now.
No, I was like,
By the
come
way-
on, time's
by the
up.
way-
Let's
That's
go.
the end of the second period in a hockey game, I
I
think.
just
is
want
what
now we're gonna
everyone to know Ray has control.
There you go.
This is
of
not
these Sounders.
me.
Yeah.
Shoot. So the Jets?
It's Jets time. Chris.
The Jets, this is the ugliest of the ugliest, but they have a lot of money. This was a tough one, man. I went back and forth, and I have a funny feeling what they're going to do is they're going to draft a rookie, but he's not going to start. I think they're going to go back with McCarron one more time. McCowan, sorry.
Yep,
yeah,
no problem.
I say him, and then the rookie will take over the next. And I think that makes the most sense for them. He had a good year with them.
Yep.
He's got the room.
Yep.
And now the young guy gets some chance to groom, and then they go from there.
That's a smart pick. Yeah, for sure.
That's exactly what I got. I got them drafting a rookie with the 6th pick overall,
Robbie Allen.
and McCown will be their Week 1 starter.
All right. This is where I have somebody winning the Kirk Cousins sweepstakes with the perfect combination of tons and tons of money and less pressure to win immediately with the surrounding team that he has. New York's an interesting market. It's a heck of a place to be. Now, Kirk Cousins is not like he's kind of from the Midwest, so like he's probably not the guy looking for the spotlight or whatever like that. Broadway Kirk doesn't exactly sound right. Yeah. But no, I think they're going to go hard after him with a really good amount of money. And that money is going to be enough to convince him to. And I do think that there's something to the high pressure situation and him potentially going to a place where he can have some time to turn it into a winning franchise while they surround him with some talent instead of being expected to come in and be the savior. It's high pressure for like some of these Broncos defenders and stuff to like, hey, this guy's going to put us over the top. We're going back to the Super Bowl. It's high pressure. Yeah. So I'm going Cousins ends up in your division, and you guys will get to face him twice a year. And I don't think it's going to be as scary as that sounds at all for you guys.
I don't think so.
And I think the Jets are going to go with Eric.
See, I think I know you've used that example a few times with I think like if you being a quarterback in the NFL, you have to be that has to drive you. I think that's something I think would be more favorable of like, yeah, I'm going to take this on. I'm going to go to the Jet. I'm going to go to the Vikings and I'm going to take this pressure, and I think it's less pressure, but it's like pressure to win, yes, but less pressure because of the tools around it. I don't know.
Well, I think the extra money, and I think the Jets are going to offer him more.
Well, I think
the extra money is going to help him make the decision to go to a lower pressure situation.
That's the only way that they go is the cash. You got to buy him.
Who do I got next for you guys? Broncos.
Yeah,
Broncos.
Let's go Broncos. Do you want to kick it off, Ray?
I will. The Broncos are
wrong next. Oh, Nick, you didn't get
they're picking 5th overall.
Nick's answers have been bits, and I think we'll give him some time to think about the next one.
They are picking a rookie with that draft pick.
I agree.
And Josh Rosen will be their week 1 starter.
So I'm going to say draft pick because even if it's not Josh Rosen, if their draft pick
you can write down Josh Rosen.
Okay, but I'm not going to do that, Ray.
Okay.
All right?
Write it down. I said Josh
Okay,
Rosen.
fine, Rosen, and if it's not Rosen, you are wrong. 'Cause you know that you have to eat something really gross if you're last place on this, right? So, Chris, Broncos.
I'm leaning towards a starting QB that's a rookie too, but I think that's where that Keenum's going to go.
You think Case Keenum?
Yeah, that's where he's going to go.
Keenum.
There's been lots of talks about it for sure.
Yeah.
There has been.
Yeah.
I think that makes the most sense. Is that if the Vikings are going to give up on, like, they got some guys that I think they got a good team, and I think they need to fix the O-line a bit.
Yeah.
Good D, and he's mobile, and I think, if you looked at in the playoffs, he bought a lot of time. Yeah. And I think he could go well with that offensive line, and they can patch it up. You know what? I think on one mock draft, they had him picking a guard, which I think is like crazy.
Yeah.
But that one guard is supposed to be amazing.
Yep.
But I think if they address that with a second, third, you can fix your offensive line a bit. Pick up maybe a free agent. There you go.
Okay. So, the Broncos' O-line was a total mess. They had Trevor Simeon playing amazing and then falling off a cliff. They had Brock back, who was terrible. But their first-round rookie from 2 years ago, Paxton Lynch, got a chance to play, started looking pretty good, and got hurt. First-round pick only 2 years ago. He's still sitting there. I agree with you guys 100% that the Broncos are going to draft somebody at 5, and they are just praying Josh Allen falls to 5 to them. And I actually see them making a push to get up into the top 2 or 3 to maybe get him. But I do think that they have to figure out if Paxton Lynch is going to pay off for them or not. And he started playing good at the end of the season before he, kind of fell off a cliff. Yep. And again, the O-line was terrible. I think they're going to give him a chance again, and I'm going to call Paxton Lynch as the Broncos starter. I do think they're going to be in the discussion for Cousins, but I think Cousins is going to be way too rich for them. That's even just as high a pressure as Vikings for Cousins, and I think they're going to strike out too. So I think they're going to draft, and I think Lynch is going to start.
There's been a lot of talk on the national shows about the pressure that Elway has on this year's draft or this year's offseason when it comes to a quarterback. What do you guys think about that? Is Elway really under the gun to come up with a solution for QB here?
You want me to take this first?
Sure.
I think he absolutely is. I think Elway is one of the most overrated GMs in the NFL. I think he's been really not good at all. Like, a lot of the defense was kind of falling into place for him. Yeah, he made some of those picks, but Mr. Quarterback Guru, it doesn't take a genius to sign Peyton Manning to come in and win you a Super Bowl. He's made nothing but horrible decisions. He almost paid Brock Osweiler nearly as much as Houston did, and that would have turned out to be a stupid move.
Yeah.
Trevor Simeon was the best quarterback he's ever picked. And by the way, keep an eye on Simeon because he's in the last year of his deal right now. He's actually a pretty good quarterback. When there's a good team around him, he might get traded somewhere and actually get a chance to compete. I don't have him on our list here, but keep an eye on Trevor Simeon.
Career backup.
Listen, and then they drafted Paxton Lynch, who wasn't able to do anything in his rookie year and didn't do anything in his second year. He started showing a few signs, but he couldn't win the job. John Elway is very under the gun to solve the quarterback problem because he's very overrated as a GM. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I you know what? I think many could be given the same label. But like, finding that quarterback that's the most elusive thing that you're going to pick.
Yep.
So you can look like a genius. Like if Belichick didn't have Brady, and he would be doing the same thing of keep throwing that line out there. Who's going to be the next big thing?
Yeah.
And that's it.
All right. This last.
We didn't get Nick on any
Nick,
of
do you
this.
got
Come
anything
on.
for Broncos?
Let's package in.
Rookie.
And the other one before that?
Rookie. I'll just
Okay.
say rookie.
There we go.
All right.
We got him.
And then the final team, which I hope doesn't take us too long. To me, it's super boring. Are the Dolphins? Do either of you guys? What do you got? What do you got for the?
I got running. I got Tannehill's week one starter.
It's got to be Tannehill because they're in such cap problems right now. What are they going to do? What are you going to offer?
They're drafting 11th. They just paid big money again for another DL or defensive lineman coming from the Rams, I believe.
Yep.
And they're not going to go out and spend money on a big free agent.
they got
Tannehill's going to be their week one starter.
Okay.
I think it's the safest bet.
Yeah, I think Tannehill too, though. Don't sleep on Brock Osweiler ending up there to get a chance to compete. The Adam Gase connection from the first year. And,
Yeah.
I think Brock the experiment has failed miserably.
I agree. I'm just saying, don't sleep on that. All right.
Okay.
Well, that's it, guys. So I got your answers locked in here. So
Miami?
come Miami. Is it? What do you got?
I agreed with Tannehill.
Yeah,
Okay.
Nick said I
Tannehill
agree.
for everybody.
Timing here.
So
Taunting? Yeah.
come week 1, guys, we'll tally this up. First place guy is going to win something, and last place guy is going to do something that is very, very, very.
I say we put everything, put something in the hat, and then that's the one good stuff, and then
Yeah.
really bad stuff.
Yeah, and it's going to be bad stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be pleasant at all.
Okay,
Ray, let's keep moving here.
Ray's
All
gonna
right,
cry.
you can do it, but
I won't do it.
I may be
Only
doing it.
because of the Barcelona.
Right now, I would do anything because I couldn't taste a thing. All right, how we doing for time? All right, let's move over.
Move over down this way.
No, so we are now going to jump over to combine. So, and again, we're going to stick on the quarterbacks talk tonight. Let's go over to the combine. I want to get your first opinions. I want to do is find out who you guys thought the winners and losers were out of the quarterbacks at the combine. And then after the combine, I want to talk about I want to put together the First Down Sports top 5 QBs heading into the draft.
Sure.
Okay. And I think that could be a good discussion. So let's get through the winners and losers pretty quick. Andy, let's start with you.
All right. Well, my biggest winner is Baker Mayfield. I think a lot of the quarterbacks were winners, but Baker Mayfield nailed the interviews. Not just in the open, but behind closed doors. All the sources are saying he was brilliant on the chalkboard. He had a little segment with Steve Mariucci where he showed some of that. But his open to the press interview where he was taking all those questions about like becoming an NFL quarterback, that swagger, that confidence, that cockiness. There's a lot of old school football guys in the league that eat that up, and that's what they want to see. Like they were seeing a combination of Brett Favre and Jim McMahon. And I think he really helped himself. And in the throwing drills, he showed. Watching him throw next to the guys like Jackson and Allen and so on, there's a lot of zip on the ball. Like this is not a guy with an arm like Case Keenum. He doesn't have an elite arm, but it's strong. And I think he did nothing but help himself.
All those short to intermediate throws, he was boom,
he's
boom,
accurate.
Connecting.
Do you want me to jump to my loser, or do you want to just do all the winners here first?
No, let's hear your loser right off the bat.
My loser's Josh Rosen. He's a quirky guy, and quirky's not the end of the world, but I mean, he really looks like a tennis player. He looked frail, very frail. The footwork and the speed and everything like that. He's a statue. Like he's not a guy. He's the prettiest, most natural passer in the entire draft. Potentially about to be the prettiest, most natural passer in the NFL. He's that good. But in terms of a leader, a teammate, all those questions, I don't think he did anything but kind of make that look a little worse. I think he lost ground on all the quarterbacks.
I agree.
Question.
Yeah.
With him, I don't know if I read about him. Is he the one who got the concussion at the end?
Yes.
Yes.
He's had injury troubles. He had a shoulder problem and he had concussions as well. Yeah. And he just flat out didn't win a lot of games in college. Now, he played for UCLA and he didn't have a great team around him. But, I mean, he really, there's just not a lot there. So, I think he's a good quarterback. I think he hurt himself more than anybody.
Yeah, I agree with you. Chris, what do you got?
Well, I agree with that too. Well, let's go. I guess my first thing is I think there's two of them, Mayfield and Jackson. I think Jackson. I like Mayock's. What Mike Mayock said about him was he looks like a Michael Vick coming into the league. That he's faster and he has a better passing completion than what Vick has.
Taller and bigger too.
And he's speedy. Do you see him on the? No, he didn't participate in the 40.
He didn't run.
But I saw when he was at one of his school one.
All you had to do is watch his game tape.
But
he's a homer. Like he's blazing fast.
But I love it that he didn't take like it. Just like it was a strategic move of. I'm going to go in. I'm not going to do the run because that's going to over highlight all the other things that I'm going to do. So I liked it. I really like. I'm leaning. If I had to pick a number one, is the Mayfield.
So this is your winners.
Winners Mayfield. My second is Jackson. Allen obviously looked good. I think Rosen threw some good balls. I think he looked shaky, but the combine is tough to It's tough to say.
So who's your loser?
The loser is Sam Darnold in this one. I didn't like that he didn't go out and he didn't show off his arm. Why wouldn't you do that?
That didn't bother me at all.
I didn't like it.
He's going to do it as pro days, is what his agent said.
I don't know. I just think you have to show it at the combine, and there's no strategic thing. Like at least Allen, when he sat out with the run, you know what he had. I don't know what that's one of the biggest things a quarterback had is throwing the ball around.
You mean when Jackson?
Well, Jackson's sitting down because you know he's fast.
Yeah.
Well, there's plenty.
Donald, you got to throw.
There's plenty of game tape on Sam Darnold. For his throw. And I don't want to take too much time here, but if you saw the list of quarterbacks that didn't throw in the combine,
but he's at one of the top. He's at the top tier. Like I feel that he's in the top tier.
Jameis Winston didn't throw, and he went number 1 overall.
Yeah, but
neither did Mariota. Neither did Luck. Nobody throws.
I don't like any of those. If you have a whole room of all the scouts and they're all looking at you, I don't like the idea of any time. Like that's your best thing. Go throw.
Fair enough. And for now, we'll call him a loser. Everybody's going to forget he did. Once his pro day comes, everybody's going to forget he didn't throw.
Sure.
Yeah. What do you got?
The winner for me by far was Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. I didn't know a whole lot about this kid. I knew that I knew he had a big arm. He's tall. He's got all the attributes that you'd want.
He's a physical monster.
Right.
Yeah.
This guy was on the 10-yard line throwing bombs to the opposite 15-yard line.
Yeah.
This guy's got a cannon. And not only is it a cannon, but it looks so slick, so smooth coming out of his arm. The footwork was unbelievable. This guy here went from probably being a 4th or 5th top overall to me. Now he's 1-2. He really moved that much for me. This guy moved the bar for me huge.
Yeah, he was one of my winners too, but I wanted to leave him for you.
Yeah.
I'll agree with you. I think there's a few things that, and I want you to get to your loser, but he was throwing against air.
Yeah.
There's plenty of game tape on this guy. He's not accurate at times. You're right. He's got a flamethrower. Like I'm scared. If he ended up with the Browns, the first thing I'd be worried about is they can't catch.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, it's man, he did nothing but in those quarterback drills where they were throwing the fades. He was doing a 7-step drop, stopping, kind of waiting, patting the ball 2 or 3 times, and still out throwing these guys.
Mike Mayhawk made an interesting comment for this guy too. He said, when you can throw a ball that deep with the velocity that he throws that ball at some point during that route, a cornerback loses the ball. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm really impressed with this kid. Okay. And if he has a line in front of him, like Dallas, for example, this kid's going to rip it up in the NFL.
Yeah, the process.
Rip it up.
The way he processes the game, I think, is
that's the question mark, and we'll see. Yeah, because you can't really show any of that. They did say, but they did say behind the sources, that we don't know, behind closed doors on the chalkboard, he really impressed.
Well, I'm just going on his game tape of when you see that, the process.
There's a lot to prove.
Yeah.
My biggest loser of the draft is Lamar Jackson.
Really?
I wasn't overly impressed with. I expected more of an arm during the throwing mechanics with him. Not only that, but I think it was a big mistake from him not to run the 40. Okay. We all know the tape on him as far as speed goes. But he didn't run the 40 specifically because he doesn't want GMs and coaches to be asking him about being a wide receiver. I would have said, if I'm him, I'm going to run the 40, get the best 40 time a quarterback's ever scored, and then tell them I'm a quarterback. I would have liked to seen more confidence on him and run that 40. The other biggest loser for me is Mike White. This guy was high on my list. Top 5, top 6 quarterback. Right. I really like this Mike White. He really impressed me in the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
He was atrocious in the combine. Yeah. He was terrible. So, anyways, those are my winners and losers. Nick, do you got anything down there?
Nothing. I didn't even watch it.
No. All right.
After hearing you guys talk about it, I think I'm leaning more towards what Chris was saying. I like the Mayfield, just from reading about him.
Yeah.
And that guy who didn't throw the ball.
Darnold.
Like
Darnold, yeah.
Darnold.
Yeah.
You're a QB.
You gotta
throws the
throw.
ball.
Throw the ball.
Yeah,
Nut up.
I don't
Time
think he's
to
going to
nut
hurt him at all. One thing that I just want to touch on this fast, I was like, what really annoyed me is all the narrative and the made up crap about this, turning it into a race thing with Lamar Jackson and multiple teams asking him to play receiver and everything like that. He stood up in front of everybody and they said, "What teams asked you to play receiver?" He said, "None. I'm a quarterback." So he's either lying or this was all a bunch of made up crap for reads and clickbait and stuff, and that's just annoying. So anyway,
Do you want to hold on here? Do we want to pause while you fix that? There's a little circle thing there. You got to circle that.
Got it.
Good. Okay, count us
we're
back
good.
in, and Chris, you're up.
I just keep it going.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, I like his response to that. Then if he does have knowledge of that, you saw sometimes with a whistleblower what's going to happen to possibly getting blackballed from the NFL of like now you're someone causing some problems, which I don't think would be really the same thing of what would happen. Yeah. But I still like him taking a high road of like whatever these two teams said that to me. If someone's mentioning race, like. I like that what road he took that he took. That was good.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Now we got to get into building our top 5. And this may be tougher than I thought, but we've got to try to eat some time here. So let's start with the number 1 quarterback. See if we can agree who the number 1 quarterback of this draft will be.
Okay.
Andy, throw out a name. Let's
Easy, Sam Darnold, and he didn't do anything to lose it. If you look at his grade, his pre-draft grade on NFL.com, he has the highest pre-draft grade of any quarterback since 2012, the Luck in RG3 year. He's rated better than Mariota and Jameis Winston were. He can do things on the football field that nobody else can do. He's super mobile. He's fast. He's got a big arm. He won huge games. He comes up big. He scores when he needs to. A quarterback's job is to win a game, and he can do that. The not throwing on the combine thing does not matter at all. Nobody throws it. Nobody who's worth anything throws at the combine. It's only recently when they're like, "Yeah, I want to be a competitor," and everybody's going to forget about that with the tape. Allen really closed in on him, but Darnold is my number 1 hands down right now.
Yeah, I'll go back to back with you on that. So even though I named Sam Darnold, oh my god, I'm gonna mess up his name again.
Darnold.
Darnold.
I know. I look at it and I want to mispronounce it for some reason. Sorry.
Yeah.
Darnold.
So, anyways, I even though I named him my loser, I was just pissed that he didn't throw because I wanted to see him throw. I was excited.
Yeah.
I do still have him as rated as my highest quarterback for the same reason why I say Watson last year that we kind of really disagree about. Like, he wins the big games. And that's what I like is the tape rather than all this combine stuff that I think who has the high jump. I see the winner and losers on NFL.com and like someone lost because of a high jump when you're a quarterback. That doesn't calculate the same.
Yeah.
I want to see the quarterback's tape. So him, number 1, Allen I still have. And I have Mayfield closing.
Well, we'll get to the rest of the list here.
Yeah.
Who did you have at number 1?
I don't have Darnold but again, I'm really struggling. It could be Darnold. Like if you see my note here, could be Allen, could be Darnold.
Okay. Well,
I'm really torn.
Well, if you're torn between those two, we're both going Darnold. So if you're trying to make some initial list right now, then Darnold. Darnold number 1.
Darnold's it.
Yeah.
Number 1.
A very close 2 for me that he closed the gap. And this is going to fit with what you have on your paper for sure is Josh Allen. The questions about him, he played in a small school. He's like Carson Wentz, right? And actually played for Carson Wentz's old coach, and he's a monster like Carson Wentz too. The question about him was his poor completion percentage and the fact that he never won any big games. When his small school played, some of the bigger programs like Iowa and things like that, he couldn't win.
Yeah.
But other than that, he played at the Senior Bowl. He played really well.
Yeah.
And he was just like made scouts drool at the combine, and he apparently impressed a lot in the interviews and stuff. So to me, he firmly moved himself into second place and is closing the gap on Darnold. I got Allen as number 2.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, he ran a 4.75 in the 40. He was top 3 is out of all the combine skills there. but I just can't get over that arm. The arm is just amazing to me. I've got to put him at 2 if he's not 1.
Yeah, and you know what? This is going to pour a little cold water on it, but I heard his arm described as the strongest one they've seen since Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah.
Jeez, don't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so that shows you what a strong arm can do for
Absolutely.
you in the NFL, right? Yeah. Chris, number 2, do you agree with that, or do you got someone else?
Yeah, I just have Mayfield really like closing the gap. I really love his completion percentage. That means a lot to me.
Yeah.
I look at his tape and I just love the way he scans the field.
Yeah.
And I know Josh like has a rocket arm. You know, that's great and everything. But if you can't I think he's going to have a lot more pressure on the second level here, going to the top level. That is, and I don't know. Something makes me want to put Mayfield ahead of him, but those attributes still stay out of like how strong everything is. So yeah, Allen number 2.
So Allen number 2, and I think I'll make this easy for you. Mayfield to me, and we'll get your take on it. But Mayfield, like I said, was a big winner.
Yeah,
he came in measuring over 6 feet. Now again, everybody wants 6'2", but he came in over 6 feet, so he's no Manziel or Russell Wilson height or even Drew Brees. He came in over 6 feet. All the measurables, big hands, and he's a thick guy for his size, and all the measurables were good. And like I said, he went out there and he threw, and there was a ton of zip on the ball, and he was super accurate. And then I can't underestimate what he did with the media. That interview was gold. He knocked it out of the park, and there's going to be so many coaches and GMs looking at that going, that's our guy. Yeah. So I think he's number 3.
Yeah,
let's do a little check-in. Nick, what do you think?
Mayfield.
Mayfield number 1?
No, number 3.
Okay, number 3.
So far you agree with us then.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Check in.
I have no.
Yeah, there's no one that touches him.
The only thing about Mayfield number 3 is I want to push him down a little bit just so that he falls to the Bills. Without having to trade up, that would be great.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
that would be
not
It's not going to happen. Yeah.
No. He's going in the top 10 for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right, let's.
Why don't you start with your number 4?
We could start rumors.
So now we get to number 4, and now we're getting into guys like Josh Rosen, and we've got Mason Rudolph here.
Okay.
And although Josh Rosen slipped in the combine for me, I still put him way ahead of the other prospects in this draft.
Yeah.
So I have to go Rosen number 4 here.
I too have Rosen. It's a total no-brainer. I think the drop-off after Rosen is huge. I still think Rosen is right there with the tier 1 of quarterbacks. And tier 2, I think there's a big drop-off, and it happens after Rosen. So I have Rosen number 4 as well.
Okay.
Chris?
I struggled with this one because I'm looking at him in the combine and I'm like, I'm just not feeling it. I know some things you don't like hearing about. I'm not feeling this guy is going to be a great commodity for one of these teams.
I don't feel it either, to be honest with you. But I can't put anybody ahead of, like, you know how we're wowed by that arm strength.
Yeah.
I'm pretty wowed by the fact that he can put the ball anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's like he
can drop it. I think there's some injury stuff that I've read about him that I'm kind of concerned about too. So that's kind of factoring in. But I love Mike Mayock, and I love when he did that comparison about that he's coming out stronger than Michael Vick Jackson.
Okay.
I think I'm feeling I should go Rosen, but I'm gonna go Jackson ahead of him.
Okay.
And we'll see how that plays out after the year to see how that kid goes.
Okay.
It may take 2 years
to
prove that out. So Jackson, yeah.
And for our overall list, since you and I both went Rosen and he thinks Rosen's close, we're gonna go Rosen for the overall list, but Chris went Jackson. Now
mark it down, Nick.
So Rosen number 4, Nick? Rosen number 4?
I would have picked Jackson because that's my dog's name.
Well, it's hard to argue with that logic, right?
Well, we got a tie break.
Yeah.
That's a tie. I'm sorry, guys.
But I don't know what I'm talking
about. We're gonna take the dog reasoning and we're gonna go ahead and give the win to us. So number 5 is where I thought it's really tough, right? So the tier 2 of the quarterbacks. You mentioned Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph's a big, huge, strong quarterback.
Absolutely.
Until you see him throw.
Yeah.
What's going on with that arm, dude? It does not match the body at all. He was not impressive at all out there. Yeah. Even less impressive than Mike White, I would say. Yeah. Again, throwing against air doesn't really mean all that much. Yeah. But so I'm giving this to Jackson for the number 5, purely because nobody else stood out at all to me.
Yeah, I think that everything else is after this pick is all flutter.
Jackson's going to be a very interesting prospect. I do think he's going to go in the first round. I don't think there's any chance he gets past you guys, but I think he may actually go before you.
Jackson will go before?
I think
Before
so.
the Bills?
I think so. I think he's going to be the 5th guy in the first
I think
round.
we have a shot, a real shot.
And he's an interesting guy. Like, I mean,
I don't know if he's going to give you anything outside what Tyrod was there for.
Let me give it to you this. So if you watch any of his game, like he's got a really strong arm.
Yep.
He's bigger. He's frail a little bit, but he's big. He's fast.
As hell.
I'm just going to say it. Deshaun Watson.
That's
After seeing Deshaun Watson, I can see it happening.
He's been compared to Deshaun Watson, and Deshaun Watson has also come out and said this guy is going to be
he's
fantastic.
He's a
QB.
He's a Heisman winner, and it's not like he didn't throw a lot in college. He ran a lot, but he also threw a lot. Yep. And when you saw what the Texans were able to figure out with Watson. And I just want to mention this to you guys a bit with the Bills a little bit here. So Bill O'Brien from the Belichick tree with that offense worked out something for Watson. Who else is from the Belichick tree? Mr. Dayball, who is your offensive coordinator now, who could put something together too. So.
This guy put up 3,600 passing yards last year and 1,600 yards rushing last year. So I mean, this guy is Mr. Offense.
Yep.
Out of these quarterbacks.
I don't think he gets past you guys, but I also not sure he gets to you, and that's the unfortunate.
I think you're right. I think we're going to have to trade up on it. I think we are. I think we're in. That's a whole nother topic, but we're going up.
Yeah, well, we'll be mock drafting that eventually here once we figure out what's going on.
I'm going to mock Nick.
What do you, Nick Jackson, since that's your dog's name, I assume you agree with us for number 5?
Yep.
All right.
All right.
That's a lock.
So there you go. There's our top 5 draft QBs. Darnold, Allen, Mayfield, Rosen, Jackson.
Yep.
Chris, do you want to take one last shot at the number 1 quarterback? Last name?
Darnold?
Hey, that was perfect.
Not bad.
Yeah,
Pretty
I
good.
kept looking at it. I wanted to say Donald for some
Donald,
reason.
yeah.
I just want to say
you got
Donald.
it. You got it. Nice.
All right. So now we have a new segment that we are going to be doing here. Our sound audio, or do we just say sound guy now?
Just call me the sound guy.
The sound guy has come up with a new topic this week, and the name of this topic is. Let's just turn that up again. There we go. So this topic is called Say What. So this topic, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking, Nick's going to be viewing people on the Facebook, Twitter. And we're going to be looking for guys that are making comments and debates, and we're going to call out certain people, and we're going to try to decide if they're a player in the chat room or if they're a troll in the chat room. Right, Nick? Those are the right words?
Mostly trolls, yes.
Mostly trolls.
Yes.
So Nick found this Facebook chat discussion going on about things that could happen in 2018.
Yeah.
And there's a guy named Hunter Considine. Now, Hunter came out and made a comment and was adamant in a few other discussions he was having, but he said that Johnny Football is going to be the 2018 Comeback Player of the Year. Quote, book it.
I would love to see that this kid's right. I don't know if I should call him. I don't know if I should call him a kid. I don't even know what the guy looks like. But he could be 54 for all I know.
All right. So I think the perfect person to talk a little Johnny Manziel right now is Andy Jardine.
Probably good. Let's start with me because I'm probably going to be the easiest on him.
Sorry.
Some of my best work right there. So that's insane. Comeback Player of the Year. But you know what? With what we've seen from Johnny in the last 3-4 weeks, his appearance on the Tomahawk podcast and how that went and so on, and everything that he's been saying and what you're seeing from him on social media now and what you're hearing, I don't think it's crazy to think that Johnny Manziel is going to be associated with an NFL roster for 2018. In fact, I made a prediction to our buddy Ray Perkin the other night that Johnny's saying I'll play for a contract that has zero money guaranteed, a league minimum contract, and I'll spend time on somebody's practice squad, right?
Yeah.
And that's magic, right? Like you put him on a practice squad, he can't even be activated in the games. It's just to prove that he's ready to be a professional again and behaves. And I actually do think he's going to make his way to a practice squad. And I'll even make the prediction for you guys right now that I think he's going to be signed to the Saints practice squad for 2018. He has a relationship with Sean Payton. Sean Payton's one of the first coaches to sit down and talk to him and have dinner with him after he came out of rehab and stuff like that. So I think our buddy here saying comeback player of the year, I think that's a little crazy.
Yeah.
I will not be booking it.
You won't be booking it?
I won't be booking it. But I will say that I don't think it's far-fetched that Johnny is associated with the NFL this year. I think he will make his way to a practice squad and potentially even by the end of the year be on the active roster if he proves himself.
How pissed off are you if you're Kaepernick that Johnny Manziel is on a team and you're not?
Oh my god.
Well, yeah, that's...
I would be inflamed. Well, I would just be like, that would be another level of angry.
That's a whole other topic with a lot of other moving parts.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's going to tick a lot of people off that if Johnny gets back into the league. But that being said, he's super young. The upside is there.
Yeah.
And he is doing the right things. And everybody deserves a second chance, third chance, whatever.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Johnny upset people in a different way than Kaepernick did, and it's pathetic that he'll get more chances. But
and not only did he upset his locker room with some of the stuff he did, right?
Yeah.
And even in his interview with Joe Thomas,
he was apologizing.
He was apologizing to Joe, and Joe was easy on him on the podcast.
Yeah.
But I'd love to know the conversations that Joe had with him off air at the time that stuff was taking place.
Yeah, there were some interesting comments that he made. Nobody was too impressed with Johnny. Everybody knew Johnny was in over his head. He was having some problems. He was completely checked out. The story, I don't know if you haven't listened to it, Tomahawk Podcast, go look it up. And it was like, it's like Thomas plus Hawk. So it's Tomahawk with an H on it. If you don't put the H after the T, you're not going to find it. Go listen to it. It's fascinating, Chris, hearing him talk about all the stupid stories, like the Billy Manziel story where he showed up in Vegas the night of a game wearing a fake mustache and a wig, thinking nobody would know who he was. Him telling the stories about that, genuinely explaining what was going through his head. It's fascinating stuff.
Yeah, it was really good. It was a really good interview. Me personally, I think Johnny's going to play in the spring league, which I think is a good move for him. I still think his road to the NFL has to go through. I think it's going to go through the CFL.
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to be the Ticats, but I think Johnny's going to have to take a couple more steps to get to the NFL than just the spring league. I really do.
Yeah.
And that's why I think, the spring league's going to springboard him into the CFL. And if he goes by his word, he'll go to the CFL without big money contract.
But he hasn't said that word.
No, but originally for the Ticats, he was looking for $450,000.
Yeah.
Right? Now he's saying he'll go play for a practice squad
in the NFL,
right?
And he'll play for free in the NFL.
I realize that.
Yeah.
But when he finds out after spring league he doesn't get that opportunity,
yeah,
I think he's got to rethink himself and put himself in the
I say
CFL.
I say the Bills sign him for 4 years free.
Yeah. There you go.
He's no, you're right. He definitely was in no rush to commit to the Ticats because he wanted the opportunity to go play in the spring league and show the NFL.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know what you guys are. Sorry, I'm so like you, I think where we disagree is I do think he is going to get his opportunity after the spring league, and he's not going to end up in the CFL.
Wait, there's one thing I just wanted to piggyback on it. I think it'd be a great idea for the Bills to do that, and then we assign him to the tailgate duties because it's a nut show out there. You see all the going through the tables, Johnny going through tables. Would be amazing.
Right,
Bill's
right back on the map.
It'd be.
I'm sure that's definitely in his plans.
That's more
I'll play
realistic.
for a practice squad, or I'll just hang out in the Bills
for
parking
free.
lot.
You're signed for 4 years.
Yeah.
Now,
Jump through tables.
Now, Nick, I'm going to leave this decision up to you. So you've heard our comments on this comment by Hunter here.
Hunter.
Are we going to call Hunter a player or a troll?
Troll.
Troll?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to leave it up to you on Facebook to let Hunter know what you think.
Yeah.
All right.
He already did, to be honest.
Before we get out of here, I want to put Andy on the spot here real quick. Cleveland Browns are on the clock.
Yep.
Okay? And we're going to take you from 15 minutes for the first pick to 30 seconds.
Sure.
Okay? We've done our top 5 QB prospects.
Yep.
Couple names I'm going to throw in here. Saquon Barkley.
Saquon Barkley, yeah.
Bradley Chubb, defensive lineman.
Yep.
And Fitzpatrick, the defensive back.
Yep.
Okay. First pick overall, who are the Cleveland Browns taking and why?
You got to take the best quarterback there is. And whoever they deem by the time the draft comes around to be the best, there's no more passing. There's no more, let's take Saquon Barkley because he's a once-in-a-lifetime running back and just hope that, and then we'll take the best of the 3 quarterbacks at number 4.
Yeah.
No, the days of that are over. Our GM found the best running back in the draft last year in the 3rd round. Wasn't Fournette, it was Kareem Hunt, right?
Right.
So, it's time. Like we've done the closest thing to tanking ever. We've passed on Carson Wentz. We passed on Deshaun Watson. We passed on all these options, all leading up to this year. This year we have the number 1 pick. It's the best quarterback draft class in quite a while. Pick the guy that you like the best, and you take him number 1. And then there's Chubb and Fitzpatrick to choose from. Mathematically, one of them's going to be there at number 4. Grab that guy, whatever. The only thing that's going to change my mind is what we do in free agency. If we ended up with Kirk Cousins, I wouldn't draft a quarterback at either. I would surround him. I would Barkley number 1 probably, and then followed by a defensive player. But if it's just A.J. McCarron or even worse than that, no. It's time. It's time.
You pick so you're guy. Taking the QB.
I'm taking the QB, and right now that's Darnold for me.
Yeah.
But that could turn into Josh Allen or potentially, this would be wacky, Baker Mayfield by that time.
I'm watching a lot of mock drafts. A lot of mock drafts are predicting Baker Mayfield is the first-round pick.
I'd like to say
overall.
This running back I think is leaps and bounds the generational talent.
Yeah.
Or usually I'd say like that's your. And I can't say you're wrong, even though I wrote it and I put it on.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Yeah.
Let me backtrack a little bit.
Yeah, no,
no. If you like a quarterback, you go after it.
Yeah.
No matter what. But if you're just so close from like one of the top quarterbacks, if you can get both, like how much is that quarterback going to succeed having that Barkley there?
Yeah.
Like if Barkley's there, that takes pressure off your young guy. Oh man, that is just like a recipe for
if it was announced tomorrow that the Browns traded their number 4 pick and 2 of their second rounders to move up to number 2 with the Giants,
Sick.
just to make sure that they got their favorite quarterback in Barkley, I wouldn't cry about it.
No,
but I don't think that our GM or most of the league right now values the running back position enough. Barkley is the Myles Garrett on offense of this year's draft. And trust me, it's very tempting for me to say, oh my God. And I actually tweeted it out and I said, following the combine, I like Baker Mayfield and Allen almost as much as Darnold now. I won't cry if they take Barkley at 1 and settle for one of the 3.
Yeah.
But the more I think about it, you can't. No, you can't do it to the fan base. It's all led up to this. You take the quarterback that you like the best at number 1 and you live and die with that. There's no more questioning it. No more questioning.
It's sound logic, and for sure, I just like to get excited about. Maybe it's the EA Sports football guy in me that's Madden. Where hey, if I could get Barkley and I can get the number 1 quarterback, top 3 at least.
Listen,
boom, there you go, got it.
Trent Richardson was. I'm not saying this level of prospect, but probably considered the best one we've seen since this guy. Like people were more excited about Richardson than they were about Fournette, and look how that went. Nope. Top quarterback.
The thing is they're saying that if they don't take their quarterback now, they lose control of what's happening with the quarterbacks because if the Colts trade and the Giants trade out, well now Cleveland could be selecting the 3rd or 4th top quarterback.
All I heard all last year is they're too young to win. They're too young to win. They're too young to win. Well, they have a record-breaking number of draft picks yet again this year. If all these draft picks are making the team, you will continue to be too young to win. So trading down, moving it's just none of that's going to happen. You got all the picks you need. You got 1 and 4 and a whole bunch of other ones. Pick the best players.
Yeah.
And at number 1, you have to choose which of these quarterbacks is your
you should
favorite
do.
and pick them. Because if you don't, and then 2 quarterbacks go, and then you pick another guy at number 4, no matter even if he's good, unless he's the best, everybody's going to question what you did. Everybody's going to say you passed again on 2 guys, blah, 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 blah. And those guys end up going in better situations and play good. And you can't do that to the fan base anymore.
Yeah.
Got to pick the top guy.
I like the one theory that I heard really quick is that if they took the running back Barkley first,
Yeah.
then it came to the Colts. Do the Colts then
Take Barkley. I think so.
or do they take Darnold
Darnold, yeah.
and then they trade Luck and then move up?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Andrew
But
Luck's-
it could be.
It could be. We talked about. I brought that up. Remember, I brought that up a couple of podcasts
But you're going to get
ago.
the number 1 quarterback.
Darnold, as good as I think Darnold is and highly rated as he is, he's not Andrew Luck.
Right.
Andrew
He's
Luck,
not Andrew Luck of the past, but
Yeah.
he hasn't been the same ever since Deflategate.
right. Well, now
Sorry, he
was,
hasn't.
That was the mark. Yeah, it wasn't the injury;
Yeah.
it was the controversy. Yeah.
No, but really though, he hasn't been the same quarterback since that game.
yeah,
Because of the injuries more now.
yeah. So actually, and I'm wrong. I think the Giants actually. It sounds like the Giants are ready to go with Eli for a little while longer.
Yeah.
I think the Giants would, if we took Barkley, I think the Giants would run to the board for Darnold.
Oh yeah, what am I saying?
Yeah, I don't know.
that's right,
Yeah. So I think the Giants run to the board for Darnold. But
Sorry,
if
that's what I heard.
that's what you're
So-
thinking,
So then they would take Darnold and then trade Eli.
Yeah,
And
Giants
that's what I'm saying,
Giants
sorry.
have 2, Colts have 3, then
Yeah.
Cleveland's
no,
gonna
I think
4.
I think they take Darnold and Eli would play out the year and they have his successor, right?
That's
You want to
it.
give him some time, so yeah, for sure. But no, Ray, if Kirk Cousins isn't signed, which I don't even think they're in the conversation,
No.
but that's the only way you don't go quarterback at 1. I'll be
Yeah.
losing my mind.
All right. Well, just a couple odds and ends for you guys. Free agency's right around the corner, as we know. There's already rumors trickling in all over the place as far as free agent moves. Just a quick one today, just before the show. The Buffalo Bills have signed Chris Ivory to a 2-year deal from
Nice. Good pickup.
Jacksonville. That's a
good
great
pickup. I like
good
it a
pickup
lot.
behind McCoy. I like it.
great change of pace.
Steelers have franchised Bell, so they've
Yep.
got till July 16th to
believe
come
it.
up with
He's
a
gonna retire.
multi-year deal, or he'll be
He said he's going to
end of the
retire.
year.
Well, he'll be a free agent again at the end of the year,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Another one here. Rich Eisen got his second fastest time in the 40 in the combine.
Just
over.
under 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Did you hear Roger Goodell went down to their floor and ran it
Yes.
and destroyed them?
I destroyed him. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah,
Rich
yeah.
Eisen
It's
Goodell in a suit
I had no
in the
idea.
office ran. I think it was 5,
5
or
yeah,
something.
like that. Yeah, it's on YouTube and on Facebook. You can find it.
That'd be kind of neat if we did threw that together for us.
Just before we
Big 40 competition outside.
get to our final thoughts,
Awesome.
normally, I do our talk about sponsors around the final thoughts, but we've made some
my
changes
God,
here. We've been
again.
going through planning. We've been doing all kinds of different stuff.
We're saving so much time
So,
with this.
I'm going to introduce a new Ray Dunn segment here, and that's my my moose moment. And
Does not sound like a moose. Sounds like some poor man.
my moose moment is the fact that Andy said he won't be booking it.
I will
That's
not,
my moose moment of the night.
I will not be booking it.
You
Thank
won't be
Moose
booking it.
Let's get that sounder one more time.
All right, let's hit it one more time.
Yeah, there's this.
Now, this is the in
gonna
season mode.
That's gonna be me trying to talk. After all
This sounds like
farce.
somebody who's That sounds like somebody who's definitely booking it. I don't know.
Oh boy, that is a moose moment if I ever heard a
We
moose
got a
moment.
Chewbacca moment.
Does this end? Wow.
That's the long moose moment. All right, so before we get out of here, does anybody have any final thoughts they want to talk about?
I'm just looking for. I'm having a lot of fun watching the combine. Like even though I feel it's a one big track meet.
Yeah.
I have a blast. This is great.
I
Yeah.
cannot wait till Wednesday next week, Ray, when free agency starts, and
yeah.
it's going to happen fast. The legal tampering period, which is kind of ridiculous, starts on Monday.
Yeah.
Cannot wait.
I'm looking forward to fresh air.
Fresh air. Fresh
I
air.
am
It's
getting
very
high.
varnishy in here.
Nick's a little high right now off the varnish.
Getting messed up.
I got a couple final thoughts I just want to touch out. Guys, welcome to season 2. It's amazing. Here we are still doing this. Season 2 And we've put a lot of effort into season 2. If you could see our studio down here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spreadsheets up on the door, up on the.
It's actually one. The varnishes is kicking in.
Yeah. No, 7 spreadsheets up on the wall here. We are planning and we're trying our best to bring you guys the best content possible. So feel free to give us your feedback on Facebook, social media every week. We want to hear from you guys to let us know what you think. Also, my final thought, I have to say, when you look at hockey over the years, you got to know some of the hockey referees. Because they didn't have their helmets back, Kerry Fraser, there's a big one that I'm thinking about, the one that had the big argument with Jim Schoenfeld back in the day. Do you remember the one?
The one referee threw a water bottle at him and everything.
Yeah. But hockey referees were always easy to associate with as fans because...
Korowski?
Yeah, Koharski. There you go. Perfect. Because they didn't have the helmets and they talked to the crowd during the game. But over the years, Ed Hockley is really the football official that brought a face to football officials.
More biceps.
Right. Yeah, biceps too. But he really brought the face to football officials. And I'll never forget that wild card game where he had a penalty explanation that took about 3 minutes for him to spit it out. But he has officially announced today that he's retiring from the NFL after a 28-year career. And his son, ironically, who was brought up to the NFL 2 years ago as a back judge, is now taking over his spot on the roster as a head referee.
Yep.
Sean Hockley. So
nepotism at its
I have
worst.
some breaking news here.
Breaking news. Let's hear it.
I don't think you're going to cover this because this just came out a few seconds ago.
Okay.
But congrats to friend of the show,
Yeah.
James Duthie,
Wow.
on winning the Canadian Screen Award for Best Sports Host.
Wow. There you
Can we
go.
have an
Awesome.
applause here maybe for
Let's
Mr.
hold on here. I have to get my
for
other.
our friend of the show, Mr. James Duthie.
Rubber
Let's-
boots.
Rubber Boots Podcast.
That's a big one. Let's give him a big one. Here we go.
Congrats,
Cheering
James.
crowd.
James.
Congrats, James. Friend of the show. We'll have to send it out on Twitter to him. All right, guys. That's your episode 1 of season 2. Thanks again for listening. We will be having our second show of this season within the next couple weeks. We've got all kinds of fantasy stuff or free agency stuff coming up. So stay tuned to Facebook. And again, don't forget to check out the video of this podcast over on our YouTube channel, and you can find it by just simply searching First Down Sports Podcast. Have a great week, everybody.
Later, guys.
Nice.
Nailed it.
I love that. So I'm going to get all my sounds in.
She's all lit up, hair and makeup. She's out every night. She's drinking pesticide. She's up and gone again. It's not